Hey y'all, welcome back to Green Hill Farms here, and this is the Empty Nester Homesteaders channel. So chickens are coming. They're coming in like 5 days. So today's Sunday. They're coming on Thursday. They're coming mail order. So don't know when they're going to get here. They're leaving wherever they're leaving from in Wisconsin, I think, on Wednesday. Getting here Thursday. Of course, I'm out of town on a meeting, but I got to beat feet back here because I got to let the post office know they're coming, and they'll be hollering at me to come pick them up. And of course, I want to come get them as fast as I can. But I want to do a quick video and show you a little bit about my brooder setup and what I'm doing when they get here. So all this is stuff that I've just learned online. So if you watch this and you know anything at all about chickens, tell me where I'm screwing up or where I need to change something, and I'll do my best to change it. So a couple things that I'm doing here. So this is going to be my brooder box. So it's just a tote that I picked up from Wally World. No, you're not going to be getting in this thing after we get some little dibbies in here, Coda. Coda, he's awful curious. I'm sure he's going to be real curious. But anyway, so this is the tote I got from Wally World, and this is going to be it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to line the bottom of this with paper towels for like the first week. And the reason being, you don't want to put newspaper in it because the newspaper's too slick, plus it's got ink chemicals in it. You don't want your chicks to have chemical access to those chemicals or anything like that. And so, and the main reason is they get splayed legs, which will harm them later on in life. So for the first at least week, I'm just going to put down paper towels. I could go with go ahead and put chippings, pine shavings in here, but I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to go with the paper towel for the time being. Seems to be what a lot of people do, so I'm going to do that, and then I'll move the pine shavings later on as we progress. But it's going to be their primary or their first brooder anyway. So a couple things I'm including that I'm going to be doing. This is actually a pheasant feeder, but it's not very deep. I have read where they will drown if they fall in there and they can't get out when they're young. So, as a matter of fact, you're even supposed to maybe put, if they're really too young, supposed to put some rocks in there. So that's what I'm using, a pheasant feeder. Probably going to set it on top of a little block or something because they really like to scratch up whatever they got in there. With the paper towel, it's not a big deal, but with pine shavings, it will be, and they get water in there, and then you got to constantly change it. One of the things I'll be doing is putting some electrolytes for the first couple days, maybe a week in there, because they've been stressed out, maybe lost some electrolytes from their trip here in the mail. So that's the one I'm going to use for water for now. Eventually, I will move before they go to the, and this is the water that I can actually use when they're actually adults. But I'll eventually go to this one and get big enough not to fall in. So this is a loaner, so I'll probably have to pick up one of these on my own later on. And then this is what my feeder is going to be. So this mason jar actually screws in the top of this, but for the first couple days, or until I see that they're just eating food like it's going crazy, I will probably just use this. If they start getting up on top of this and pooping in it, and I got to constantly throw stuff away, throw chick feed away, I will have to make some changes to that. I've also got this type of feeder right here. I have seen in other people's videos where they get on top of this feeder and they poop down in the food there. You don't want them eating their own poop. That's bad. So I'll probably be making that change. And then here's another feeder, and this would be something, this is actually another type of water right here. And yep, there's me, amateur chicken guy. And this is actually a feeder. So this would be the water, this would be the feeder for adulthood. Something else, that while we're talking about feed, the type of feed that I'm going to use is an organic feed. I want my chickens to be raised as organically as possible. So I'm going to start, eventually I'll be making their own feed for them, building a biopod for black fly larva harvesting. But until then, and probably to supplement them, I'll be using this right here. This is starter feed. I think it's got like 16, 17% protein in it. So we're using that. I've got 12 chickens coming. I don't know if this is too much or not enough. So we'll see about that. But I also know that even chicks need grit. So grit's just broke up gravel. For chicks, it's even a little smaller. Not quite powder, but just almost powder. Not like talcum powder, but just very, very grainy, like grains of sand. So they need this. It's crushed up rock, and they need that because chickens don't have teeth. You've heard the phrase, maybe you haven't, but here in the South, the phrase is scarce as hen teeth. That's because there ain't no such thing as hen teeth. Chickens ain't got teeth. So the grit goes into their, I think it's called their crawl, and that's where it gets ground up with the grit, and the grit kind of grinds it up and lets it pass on through the rest of the digestive system. One of the things that you have to provide heat for your chicks right off the bat, and I am not using a heat lamp because I'm scared to death of burning my house down. Had a neighbor's house burnt down. I had a heat lamp here where it was keeping one of my dogs warm. That's Roxy, that's since passed. But Roxy hit it and it pushed it up against my deck over here, and it didn't catch on fire because this is treated wood, but it smoldered enough where probably 85% of that was gone. And when I got to it, it was smoking, and there was a red hot cherry coal on it. So it's only by the grace of God it didn't catch on fire. So I'm not using a heat source like a heat lamp. But what I am using is this contraption right here, and this is a brooder heater. So basically, it's just it's like a hot plate, except it's upside down. It's fully adjustable. So one thing about chicks is that when they first start out, when they get here, they need about 95 to 100 degrees heat, and they need to be able to get to it and put their backsides up against it. So that's going to sit in the bottom of the brooder, and they'll be able to get to it. But then, as they get older, each week you reduce that heat by 5 degrees. So in order to do that, these are adjustable legs right here, so I can push it down and raise it up, but push it down and change, the height of it, and then that way, as they get older, then they won't need to do it, or they'll be getting used to the heat, or have the proper heat they need. Now you wonder what this thing is. No, this is not Devo. We're not back in what was that, in the 80s? What this is goes on top of this, and that keeps them from jumping up on top of that plate and pooping everywhere. And then this kind of gets warm even on the top. Of course, it gets warm on the bottom where they are, but if they jump up here, it gets warm, and then you fry the poop. So I got that right there to go on top, and that way they can't jump up there and get warm or poop everywhere while they're getting warm. So that is basically my brooder setup. I do want to show you one quick thing. They're going to be in this brooder, I don't know for how long, until they outgrow it, which will probably be about a month. But I got another brooder set up, or a larger brooder set up. But let me go ahead and show that to you right now. So this will be the next brooder that they get into. This is basically just one of those boxes that got it from Aldi's. They had bags of oranges in it. You see them at Walmart. They got a bunch of watermelons thrown in it. There's a name for it, an Eric box or Edward box, or I don't know what it doesn't matter. It's a big old box, and I'm going to use it for the brooder. So it's got high walls on it. I will probably go ahead and those holes around it, I will put duct tape and on the inside and the outside, stop those up, and then I will probably go ahead and put a lid over top of it. This may be out here in the garage. I had planned to brew these inside in the house. We're going to have to see how the smell goes. It's also depending on what the outside temperature is. The temperature of the room that you put them in needs to be 50 degrees, even with that brooder plate. Needs to be a minimum of 50 degrees. So we'll see how that goes. This week's supposed to be well below 50 degrees. And I don't know about next week, but probably for the meantime, for the first couple weeks until we really get into spring, they may be inside. We'll see what Mama says about the smell. But anyway, that is it for my brooder setup. As you can see, I'm still putting together the coop. We got the 4 system put in today or yesterday, and then it rained. It's going to rain today, so that's as far as long as we got. But shouldn't be another day, and I can get all this together. Then a day to paint it, a day to put the sides on it, a day to paint those sides. So, but I still got some time before they come out of these things. About 8 weeks into the chicken coop there. So I think I'll be okay getting that completed, the coop and the run that goes along with it. Folks, that is it. If you got any questions, leave a comment down below. Subscribe to this channel. Give me a thumbs up. And just, and if I made a mistake here, somebody please, as sure as God made little green apples, tell me and I will make those changes. Hey, y'all, appreciate you watching, and I'll catch you in the coop.